Hi, I'm Joyce, the Energy Lady. And my conversation today in living in the safety zone is living in the safety zone is actually an illusion. And the reason for that, I'm going to move my chair here. Okay. The reason for that is because when you're living constantly looking for safety, what are you doing? You're creating ways to have safety. In other words, housing, food, clothing, some place to make sure that you're going to be comfortable. That is actually an illusion because that can be taken away. There are no guarantees. You could lose that in a moment or in a day or a week. So this safety zone we create for ourselves is actually a pretend. We're pretending that we're safe because we have a place to live. We have a bank account. We have plenty of food in the fridge. I grew up with parents who lived during the Depression. And so it was really a big deal for them to have food storage. I grew up in Colorado. We had a big barrel that was buried under the ground that they would collect fruits, apples, potatoes, things when they were in season and store them there so that we had them throughout the winter. And our freezer was always full. They were always bottling fruit and making sure there was plenty of food in storage. That could have lasted, for a while, but then it's gone. And the same thing when we're constantly creating things that mimic safety for us, we can lose those in a moment. And so if we're always looking for safety and we're always trying to create that safety, what happens to your given moments? What happens if you're just constantly looking for that? Then you're always looking for what's not safe, what's risky, what's going to take from you. And when you're always looking for that, then you're going to be looking for what's unsafe. So you're going to become afraid. I knew a woman once who lived 40 years, every single morning waking up, wanting to die. She lived her life every day for 40 years, but every day she wanted to die. She did some muscle testing work and worked through those issues around that. And guess what? Now her daily concern is, what does she have to live for? Because she worked through the issue of wanting to die. Now she wakes up going, okay, now how do I live? What do I live for? And so if you have this focus of constantly creating safety and you were actually to let go of that, what would there be? What would you have left? What is there for you if you're not constantly trying to avoid taking risks, doing things that might not work out, doing something that seems scary? What would happen if you actually weren't focused on that and you just did it? Most of Americans live their lives preparing for retirement. And then what? A lot of people get sick and die. My experience is people always say, when are you going to retire? I have no desire to retire. I have no reason to retire. I love what I do. Why would I lose that? So I just tell people now I'm retired. I do what I want and I do what I love. And that is how I live each day. And yes, I take risks every day. I take a risk, and every one of you take a risk every time you get in a car, every time you get on a plane. So what's the difference if you took a risk doing that and taking a risk for you, for what your soul wants you to do? If your soul's been calling you to do something, it could become a dancer. Maybe it's a writer. Maybe your soul wants you to learn scuba diving. Maybe your soul wants you to become a librarian. It doesn't matter, whatever it is. And you're telling yourself, oh gosh, I'm too old for that. Or, oh gosh, no, that can't happen. I don't have the money for it. I have to go back and get an education. I don't have time for that. I also knew a woman who got a master's degree when she was 80 years old. And I knew another woman who was like 85, who was far better at using the internet, and she taught me multiple things on using Photoshop and stuff with photos. We never stop learning, but we can stop taking risks because we're afraid of not being safe. So the challenge for today is, if there's things calling to your soul to do, what is it you're not doing because you're afraid of it? Because you're afraid to take the risk and it's unsafe. Safety is an illusion. Nothing is a guarantee. So I have ways of helping people with this, just like the woman who wanted to die every day. I use muscle testing, I use energy cleansing. And that is how I help people get unstuck from trying to live in this safety zone. So let me know your thoughts on where you've been doing this. See ya.